dishes we're doing today are a gamberi sorrentino, which is a spicy tiger prawn dish, and then we're doing chicken limone. Two very light dishes, healthier approaches to cooking instead of using I mean, we're using butter, don't get me wrong, and oil, but we're not using necessarily cream and a lot of cheese. The garlic has come to a sizzle. It's doing what I call aromatizing. We're going to add our tiger prawns to the pan right now. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit more oil. The pan is a little bit dry. So they're becoming a nice translucent orange. Just like so. So once it reaches this stage where they're still a little bit translucent, we're going to add a little bit of wine. Just like that. And the wine will actually help to steam the dish the rest of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this right down, and then I'll be shutting it off shortly. So Sorrentinos has been around for 33 years. This dish has been or 34 years actually. This dish has been on our menu for about 33 of those 34. If it came off the menu, we would have a revolt on our hands. These are the two secret ingredients, all right? As secret as they are. A little bit of Tabasco, a little bit of Worcester just to finish the dish. We're going to add some butter. Do that. You always do so under indirect heat. You're not, I don't measure anything, by the way. I've been doing this for a long time. But ultimately, the way I cook and the way the majority of chefs cook is by feel more than anything else. I mean, once you've done it a million times, it's just second nature. But, you know, I encourage you to take recipes like the ones that I'll email out if anyone's interested, you know, use it as a guideline. Don't use it as the gospel, okay? Make that dish your own. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, cool. So we're using indirect heat to melt this butter because we want the butter to melt slowly. We don't want it to separate. Under direct heat, if the flame is still on, the butter will separate and it'll become quite greasy in texture, like in flavor. If you add it at the very end and just let it slowly melt after it's been shut off for a minute or so, it's going to be much, much creamier and taste much lighter. That's the sort of that's kind of the secret to Italian and French cookery, is taking something that's impossibly heavy, like butter, and turning it into something that tastes impossibly light. I'm going to have you guys come up one at a time. Well, not necessarily one at a time, but make a line. Don't rush the stage. And grab a tiger prawn. There are napkins right there. And just grab yourself a toothpick and run back to your seat. And then we'll get started on the chicken. This dish, you could use garlic in it if you wanted to. I'm not necessarily going to do that because ultimately I want the flavor of the chicken to come through, and really chicken limone is lemon. You should be able to taste the lemon. Lemon and garlic will work well together, but in moderation. You want to make sure the pan is nice and hot before we add our chicken. Okay, how many do I have here? Okay, I think I've got enough. Always do the sizzle test. So I'm coating it all in oil before I put it in. Now you could add some chili to this if you wanted to, but again, I want the flavor. I want it to be this to be a delicate dish. I just want to use the lemon. The sage will help add to that. Lemon into the pans. Does everybody want a little garlic, maybe? Just a touch? Just a little. It's not going to hurt anybody. See, that's the thing about seasoning, is it's very subjective to whatever you want. I mean, I could make a decision for you as a chef, absolutely, and say that it's the best, but maybe it's not. Maybe you don't like sage, maybe you don't like basil. It's entirely a personal thing. So what we're going to do next is we're going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of wine. And, okay, if you want to scare the hell out of your friends, okay, this is like a Japanese teppanyaki table. You might lose your eyebrows, ladies. So, What you do to flambe, just to show you quickly, it's not that this is part of the dish, this is just something to do for fun. You get the alcohol hot, and then then from there you can let the alcohol heat, and then move it over so that the flame comes up the side of the pan and catches the fumes from the alcohol, and then at that point you can create a flame. Wine generally won't do that for you. This is a sautéed spinach, very, very simple again. Typically in the Italian diet, you don't see a lot of pasta and meat served together. Pasta is actually served prior to the meat dish, meat course, in the formal Italian meal. So mix that up a little. I'll grab some plates and we'll get some service going here. Ultimately, there are forks here, so I'll ask you to come up again, line up, come up one at a time. I'll plate this up for you. Okay, right now. I'm going to start the tiramisu right now, so maybe in like 7 to 10 minutes. Okay. I'll be good to go. Come back then. Yes, please. Okay. Cavassinis are an Italian cookie used to make tiramisu. They're a little thinner than your standard Salvardi cookie. What we do at Sorrentino's to make these is we build more layers. Like, we're building a 6-layer tiramisu. And I'm going to take some coffee and espresso that I've added a little bit of sugar to. And we'll actually add just a touch more coffee to it because we can. In we go. And a little bit more sugar, again, just because we can. Okay. When you're layering tiramisu, what you do, obviously we'd lay these flat in a pan. Yeah, absolutely. So we lay these flat in a pan, fill the entire base of the pan. But when you're dipping these cookies, don't just toss them in wholesale. You need to dip them on both sides really quickly and then shake off the excess, just like so. So on one side, on the other, and out. Just like that, okay? And then we'll put them in the bottom of our container, all right?
Okay.
So we need to do enough for all of them. So we should have enough cups. I'm not too worried. Okay, so the next step in this process is taking mascarpone cheese, which is a very highly refined cream cheese, and we are going to put it into this bowl here, and we're going to cream it together with some sugar, and then we're going to add some egg to it and some whipped cream. Now, this cheese is quite fragile. If you add too much coffee to it at any given point, or anything acidic, like lemon, as an example, it could break and turn into cheese curds before your eyes. Actually, it'll look like a bowl of cottage cheese. So the sugar will help to stabilize it a little bit, so always add sugar to it. Again, I've added about half a cup. Just going to cream that together really quickly. So I'm going to add 1 egg to this mixture. You could always use cream cheese to cut this with, but in the end, cream cheese has salt in it. Mascarpone does not have salt in it. And really, that's all there is to tiramisu. Now, the amount of the flavoring agents you use, entirely up to you. The amount of booze you add, entirely up to you. Actually, Gordon Ramsay was in my kitchen a few years ago for a cooking class that some people won. And he said, if you're making this and you want kids to go to bed, just add more booze. This is shaved Calibo chocolate. So as soon as we hand out these, so spoons are, where are the spoons? Oh, they're right here, Mike. Right there, beside the rum. So stick a spoon in it, hand them out. If once you grab your tiramisu, if you want to make your way back to the atrium,